calling in all entrepreneurs, lightworkers, starseeds who are here ready to make impact, more money on this earth, and shift to the fifth dimension. Are you ready to ascend? Welcome to another Ascension Codes podcast. My name is Natalie Patterson, and this is the incredible Lewis Huckstep, my beautiful friend. He is a high performance and fulfillment coach. Guys, I'm so excited to have him on the podcast. Thank you for coming, babe.
Thank you for having me. And your energy is magnetic. I'm sure you get that a lot. And Matt, I was so inspired by seeing your tour that you've just come back from.
Thank you.
That was literally, you finished 2-3 weeks ago.
Literally like last week, and then I had my event, my live event the other day. So
just finished the year strong. Well done.
And you've got your event coming up soon as well.
Yeah, Jan. Not sure when this will be released, but yeah, Jan 13th in 2024. So first one. So
yeah,
really
so cool. Yay, amazing. So Lewis, for those of you who don't know who you are, do you want to share a little bit about who you are, what you do, and what your big purpose here is?
Beautiful. The summary version, the short version.
Yep.
Diagnosed with Asperger's, autism, ADHD, struggled mentally, emotionally, consciously when I was younger. Had a very emotionally volatile childhood with mum and dad, doing the best with what they could.
Yep.
And I struggled with just anything to do with like people, like how to make friends, how to socialize, how to communicate. Social settings were like my kryptonite. I've still got some, I still get it. Like even coming to this podcast, I've done a lot of work. So it's like a lot of people say I can't even tell, but it's like I've done a lot of work on it.
At all, yeah.
But yeah, it still definitely comes up. But yeah, done a lot of work on that. And fast forward, I found an outlet through sports. It was kind of like a way to, I love structure. I love knowing the rules of life, or rules of what to do.
Yeah.
And so sports was that, because it's rules, set rules, how to play, how to win, how to achieve.
Yeah, cool.
And yeah, I had a big wound around being enough. And that was for my dad, and to earn my dad's love, it was through being an achiever, and then sports. He loved sports, and that kind of fit the bill. And yeah, I was contracted with a couple of NRL teams between the ages of 12 to 18. Broncos first, and Titans, for any rugby league fans out there.
Cool.
And
You're cool.
Very cool, very cool. So that was fun, and that was the outlet. But yeah, I had a few injuries with this trusty knee on my right, and yeah, just sort of lost the passion for it, and then started to get into, I had a vision of being a personal trainer and a teacher. That was like the vision back when I was like 17, and got into the fitness industry. That turned into like a chapter and a half. I worked for free for 2.5 years. During that period, we did network marketing. So that was my exposure to business. We bring people down to the gym for the training, but then get them onto the network marketing. That was the business model. So did well, made 6 figures a year when I was 19, 20.
Well done.
And then bought the business, the gym. And then when I was 20, then opened a second one at 21, opened a third one at 23.
Yeah.
But did it very naively.
Yeah,
did it like
right.
just built a business on sand. It's like, it was just all of, for anyone that's in business, they call it like the uninformed optimist. It's like, oh my God, this is going to be so sick. And it's like, I wake up, I've got 3 businesses, all kind of making enough money to break even. And I'm like working from like 4 a.m. to getting home at 9 p.m., sleeping, repeating. And it was just like, just burning myself out, and I didn't have the outlet. I didn't know my purpose at the time, and obviously I was always doing inner work. I was always doing self-development, professional masterminds, all the good stuff. And in that period, I got clear on what I love, and it's definitely personal transformation. It's helping people find their purpose, healing their stuff, working through their wounds, and yeah, made the decision to get out of the gyms, and that was about 4 years ago. It obviously takes a bit of time to sell a business, to close it up, to wrap it up. And yeah, fast forward to that, I've sold all 3 of them. The last one sold 2 weeks ago. So that was the actual close of a 9.5 year chapter. So that was completely closed off, which I'm really, really grateful for. And for the last 1.5 years, though, I was completely removed from the business. So a proud achievement was actually getting the business to completely run without me. I do an hour there per week with the manager there, and to have a profitable business paying you $2,000-3,000 a week gives you ultimate time freedom to do what you love, which is what I do now.
Yep.
And yeah, my purpose is to heal and expand consciousness. Mission is to impact 1 million people, to help them live a life on their terms and master all areas of their life, from purpose, healing, relationships. I do a lot of content on relationships. I'm not a relationship coach. I do a lot of work with relationships because I see a relationship as the magnifying glass to your inner work that you haven't done. And that's why you get triggered. That's why they push your buttons. And that's why you heal so much. And that's why a lot of people struggle with relationships, right? It's like they shine the mirror, and if you don't have the awareness, the tools, and the ability to actually heal through what they're bringing up, it will just keep happening, eventually it turns to shit. You can either learn from it and evolve and attract someone better, or you blame them and then you attract the same person with a different face and same shit happens, right? So that's why I think people enjoy my relationship content, but I ultimately love helping people transform. I help identifying those mental constraints, those wounds, those traumas, those limitations, those conflicting restraints that we have mentally, emotionally, spiritually, dissolving that or using whatever tool that's in my toolkit that is the right tool to use. And then it kind of spurs off from there depending who I'm working with. So that's me in a nutshell.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
I loved how you said, looking at someone in a relationship is actually a mirror of you, right? And it's the old saying of like perception is projection. We know that deeply within ourselves, everything's just us. We're just facilitating ourselves, right? And the transformation work of us as leaders actually doing the work from within, then that ripples out to our communities. And you've got such an incredible community, babe. Like,
thank you.
Seriously, well done. For those of you who don't follow Lewis, go and have a look. He's got so many followers and you've been able to build such an awesome community. So
thank you.
what is one of the tools or one of the steps that you took to being able to actually build your community?
I started, it would have been back at the gym, like when we first started, like to get clients and the uninformed optimist, we just posted content, like we just post before and afters. We were very cheesy with the stuff we'd post. It was like super like positive thinky shit we would post. So I think that's where it started. We were always big on testimonials, like sharing results and sharing results. So I've been posting content for almost 10 years now, but not as structured and intentional of what I do now. And obviously learning from Gary Vee, learning from Russell Brunson, learning from Alex Hormozi, and like having more intention around what it is that I post. But yeah, like, and for anyone that wants to build an audience and build a brand, like get obviously clear on what is your message, what's your purpose, what's your vision, and then what problems are you solving. And find the biggest tip that made me have the biggest shift was Russell Brunson's book Traffic Secrets, and he talks about how to drive traffic, how to build an audience essentially. And it might have been Expert Secrets.
I just finished Expert Secrets.
Yeah, so I think it might have been in there when he talks about the Dream 100. Does he talk about that? And that might be Traffic.
It might be Traffic.
Might be Traffic. So go read his trilogy; they're all fantastic.
Yeah.
And he just talks about like find people that are already have your audience. So he says find 100. I found like 10. I found 10 people. And he just said, just model what they're doing. So they've got an audience for a reason. And if it's the audience you want, then just model what they're doing. If anyone play a game at home, pull up my profile and pull up Jay Shetty's profile, put them side to side. They look exactly the same. Wow. He does quotes, reels of himself or his work, his podcast, whatever it is, and then funny, wholesome, all different people's reels. And that's exactly what I do. Wow. So I do 4 a day, 4 posts a day on Instagram, 2 TikToks a day, 2 podcasts a week. And then I have an assistant who then repurposes it on other platforms. But on Instagram and TikTok, that's me. And the podcast is me. The rest, my assistant just repurposes it on the other socials. And obviously then do that for a long period of time. And check and obviously keep up to date with what it is that's working, what's not working. Yep. Don't fall into the trap of only posting things that go off and give you views and give you reach, because then you might become something that you're not actually that passionate about. And I have been guilty of that one. So find out what problems that you have. Simple rule that Alex Hormozi has in his book, $100 Million Leads, is hook, retain, reward. If you just get a really good hook, retain them, make it entertaining, use your personality, be authentic. That's something you're very good at. Thank you. And then reward them with whatever you hook them with at the start. And just, again, you'll just find your quirks, your ways of doing things. For anyone that checks out my content, I'm the most unpolished person on the planet. Like I literally would have this, like we've got a white light here. I would have my tripod, my phone, record it on TikTok, just use the app TikTok. Yeah. Record it, finish it, click captions, it'll put the captions on there for me. Yeah. Put some little background music on it and post. Yeah. And it's like I do have people that do polish my stuff up a little bit, but 80%, 90% of the stuff that's actually gotten me the reach doesn't come from the polished stuff. So
interesting. I've heard that so many times. I've got a couple of friends that have gone viral so many times, and it's always the unpolished stuff. And it's even funny, like the reels or the TikToks for me that have gone viral are all unpolished. And then it's like, I really love polished stuff because it looks beautiful. For the visual in me, I love this. And though, So awesome. Thank you for sharing your tips. I so appreciate it. Are you a coach that is wanting to hit 10K months consistently? You're wanting to learn the energetics, the mindset, and the mission statement of what you're here to bring into humanity. If you're wanting to learn the strategies, the systems of how I've been able to hold $1 million business in my second year, babes, I have got something juicy for you. I have created a business and spiritual container called Unity Consciousness for the purpose of allowing you to access your innate gifts, to help you level up in your business and help you make consistent cash flow that you can then go out and live your most joyous freedom lifestyle. If you would like to find out more, click on the link down below. So tell us a little bit about what was it like to overcome self-sabotage in your business, you know, growing to the big audience that you have. What was it like for you at growing to different milestones of like 100,000, 200,000? Did it feel different? Was there any self-sabotage that got there? Was there anything that you had to overcome to grow your following?
The short answer is yes. Not so much with the audience. I think in business and life, definitely relationships. In terms of like growing the audience, once you've got something that works, double down on it, improve. But business relationships, definitely. I've got a different view on self-sabotage. I don't believe.
Tell us about it, because that's actually why I wanted. I was like, I want to bring it up because I know that it's something that you love speaking about. So tell us your theory.
Beautiful. So my view on it, or the way I see what self-sabotage is you never self-sabotage, you only realign with how you view yourself to be. So let that sink in for a little bit.
Wait, say it one more time.
You never self-sabotage, you just realign with how you view yourself to be, or your identity, your beliefs, or whatever it is. Example of that, you believe, and there's a common one I keep finding, I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy of love, I'm not enough, some cousin of that. And then you get into a relationship, but you've got the belief, and the ego always will prove itself right, even if it's limiting. And it also wants to avoid pain, so it will avoid your traumas and wounds because it doesn't want to feel it or go there. So if you get into a relationship, but you believe you're not worthy of love, you're not enough, you're not whatever, then you will ruin or self-sabotage the relationship to come back to be someone who's unlovable. So that's how I see it. So that's where what people, I guess, view as self-sabotage is just them trying to do things that aren't aligned with them. And it's about, okay, is it conflict with values? Are you actually doing things you're inspired to do? Like, I would assume with what you do, we all have moments where we can't be fucked, we're tired, we're sick, or whatever's going on. But I would assume you have a lot of energy to want to do what you do, right?
Absolutely.
So it's aligned with who you are, your vision, your purpose, your values, etc. But then the other layer to that is the limiting beliefs, which is the self-sabotaging part of it. It's like, okay, we were talking about you've hit a milestone with your money this year, which is fantastic. So it's like, I'm assuming you've had, an assumption I would make is you've had limit blocks that you've had to then overcome Yeah, beautiful. So, and it's just unlearning and dissolving, or whatever tool or I guess words that you want to use. So yeah, that's how I do it. So it's I had one literally, what's today? Today Thursday. I had it this morning. So I had a coaching session this morning, and beautiful client. I love this quote. It's from Peter Crone. To the degree that you resist reality is the degree that you suffer. So if you let that sink in for a little bit. So what does that mean? Whenever there's resistance, it's showing, it's like where there's smoke, there's probably fire. So when I'm coaching someone, you're just looking for resistance, a trigger, vocal tension. I've got tons of stories I can share about this, but the one literally was from this morning. So she's a client, and it's about posting content actually, so it probably fits the conversation.
So great.
So she's posting content, and in her words, I just struggle or delay or procrastinate being authentic with my content. So she'll post like other people's stuff, repurpose stuff, and not be authentic. So for me, that's resistance.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm always trying to find the earliest moment the belief was downloaded. Yeah. So instead of dissolving something from 2 weeks ago, you want to go to where it happened, whatever. Cool. So I asked her, Keish, if you're watching this, so I said, Keish, go back to the first time an experience you had where being yourself was painful, or being authentic or expressing yourself got you pain or got hurt or was a negative experience. And she's like, she found it straight away, which is awesome. She's done a lot of work, so she got there pretty quickly. And she was she was 7 years old. She was in a computer class, and she was just having fun and enjoying herself. And the teacher told her, "Why you think you're smart? You call yourself an Australian and you can't even spell Australia." And then she took that quite personally, right? And she was having fun. She was enjoying herself. And then we got to the crux of it. I said, what was the decision that you made about yourself in that moment? And I believe word for word, I want to get the words right. It was something along the lines of I'm not worthy to be myself. It was something along the lines of that, or it's painful if I be myself. Sorry, I'm not worthy of being heard. That was her words. And if you sit with that for a little bit, for a 7-year-old, for anyone, for a 20-year-old, for fucking anyone listening to this, if you live in a world, because we always make our beliefs true, that's the one trait of the ego, she doesn't want to be heard because she's not worthy of it. So her being authentic in her content, she'll have resistance to it because her ego doesn't want to do that because that's going to be painful, because being heard is painful. And I've got tons of examples of that. So then we dissolve that and we do in the process, shoulders drop, you let it out, come to center, and how do you feel? And she's like, I feel lighter, I feel free, feel less ease, feel less tension. I say, beautiful. So say you were to film some content today and be authentic, how would you feel? She's like, I feel excited about it. I feel like there's not the resistance there. So yeah, so when it comes to finding what's causing the self-sabotage, just look for where you're not okay with life, where you're not okay with your past, your upbringing, your trauma, your childhood, your fucking parents, whatever it is. Wherever there's resistance, that's the smoke. Follow that vein to wherever the download happened, and then dissolve that using whatever technique, whether it's timeline therapy, hypnotherapy, NLP. I know a good friend of ours, Cody, his technique is one, DeMartini is another style. I have an ego dissolving technique, which I love using. Dissolve it, heal it, process it, integrate it, whatever word you want to use. And then because you've now removed the limitation, that resistance should dissipate, depending if you've integrated it properly. So that's kind of the game I play. The game I play with my clients is, where is there resistance? And that's fine where it's coming from. Dissolve the resistance, and then you get to be more expressed, more authentic, and a better version of you.
Yes, I love that. And thank you for sharing that. When people come more into alignment, you can see it in their face. You can see it in their body. There's this authenticity piece that just oozes through. And it's like, of course, babe, this is who you're truly meant to be. So, yeah, as a coach, I love seeing the transformation in clients, and I can see it in your face and in your body too. That's the piece, right? Yeah, that's the thing that lights you up.
Yeah, 100%. That's the one.
Cool, babe. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
And so, what about what has been one of the biggest pieces you've actually had to overcome yourself as a leader?
I'll go with leadership because you said leader. Definitely everything that we're speaking about, and it's like coaches generally use the tools that they needed the most. So so I definitely have had my fair share of healing. My dad was definitely my main source of my stuff. So just being I guess being diagnosed with Asperger's was quite a challenging period for me. It wasn't. I did a talk the other night, and one of the questions was, how did you overcome, I guess, the limitations that can come with something like that?
Yeah.
And everyone's doing the best of what they have. And when you're that young and you don't understand self-development, rewiring beliefs, dissolving stuff, it's like you make those beliefs true, like I said earlier. So I thought I was different. I thought I was weird. I thought I was socially awkward. It's like I just believed whatever the doctor or whoever it was that told me defined who I was. So for me, unlearning, the biggest shifts for me when it comes to leadership, owning who I am authentically, I very much adopted what a leader looked like through someone else's lens. Like, you got to be like that sort of tyrannical, hard fucking decision maker. It's like, that's not me. It's like, tell me, like, what's your thoughts? Like, be open with me. Like, I've had sessions with my team back in the gym chapters where it's like, they open up and they tear, they heal, they go through their stuff, because that's actually what's stopping them from being a better leader in their position, rather than say, you're fucking shit, get out of here, or find someone else. Like that was probably my biggest leadership challenge, was just understanding what type of leader I am and actually working on that. I love John C. Maxwell. If you've gone down his rabbit hole, he's been fantastic. Jocko Willink was fantastic. Simon Sinek was fantastic. So just unlearning my shit. Like pretty much what I just was
unraveling all the years of conditioning and programming, and just like figuring out. Cool. How old were you when you were told you were Asperger's?
The story that the age I was I think 5, 6 years old.
Yeah.
The story that I have that I think sort of sparked like me going to get tested is my mum. It was my first day of kindergarten, I'm pretty sure, or prep, or whatever they called it. And like the school called my mum and said, "Get down here, you got to get your kid." And she drove down, and apparently, I can't remember it, but apparently I was like ripping the teacher's hair out, like freaking out. And I don't know why. I would assume overstimulated, because my nervous system was so fried, and like that, I guess autism is that's quite a trait of it. So you're really overstimulated. That's why I love breath work. That's why I like regulation. So Yeah, so I'm from Norfolk Island. If you do you know where that is? Not many.
No,
Tiny island between here and New Zealand. So they flew me to Australia to get tested, and they gave me the certificate. This is who you are.
Wow.
And yeah, I think around 5 or 6 years old. I actually don't have the actual definite date, but around there.
And so then is all the programming that comes, not just with, I'm assuming, your family, but then like the friends and then the schooling and then all the little pieces.
Yeah, just everything
on your journey, babe.
Yeah, it's just it was what I was talking about before with that client. It's just finding where am
The
I
root cause.
Yeah, where am I? Where's my resistance? Where do I get triggered? Where's my wounds showing up? And then finding the cause of it, the download, the decision, the traumatic event, and then doing your own work, taking your own medicine. So that's a journey I don't think I'm ever going to stop.
Yes, I love that. I love that. The true entrepreneur, hey, that's always willing to go to the depth of the soul so that you can actually transform yourself. Nice.
I like that quote from Cody. He says, like, you can only lead others to the depths that you've led yourself or you explored your own world. So that heavily resonated with me because we wear the mask, we wear the persona, we got to show up and be the leader. There's obviously a time for that. Like when everyone's freaking out, you got to be strong, you got to hold the space. But yeah, definitely. Yeah. For anyone who wants to be a better leader, work on you. Obviously learn the tactics, learn how to communicate, learn the systems, processes aspect of things. But everyone says it, like Tony's said it for decades, like success is 80% mindset, 20% skills. And most people just over index for the skills. It's like the skills are actually pretty easy. Read a fucking book and you'll get there, right? But work on your shit and find how to do that in a consistent way. There's not that many people that I know that actually do that.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Babes, are you wanting to fucking build an empire and be an embodied millionaire? Okay, I've got you. The Oracle is a 12-month mastermind full of women that are already peaking at 15, 20, 30K months and are wanting to fully embody the codes of the millionaire. This 12-month mastermind is nothing like I've ever done before. There is 3 retreats that'll be all around Australia. You get in-person events 3 times a year, plus access to my Light Codes practitioner training, as well as chickens and a dashboard every Tuesday and every second Thursday a training. This is for the boss babes that are wanting to build their fucking empires, that are fully pioneering movements. If this is speaking to your soul and you know you want to be called forward into a higher realm of intuition, of dedication and full devotion to your mission, the link will be down below. What was the point? I know you explained before about, having your gyms. What was the point, that moment where you were like, I have to find my purpose? And how was it that you found your purpose?
Yeah, my experience with purpose was a funny one. So I love Kerwin Ray and he's changed my life. Go check out Kerwin Ray's stuff. He's fantastic. But a downside of what I experienced with him is it's a business mastermind, but he does a lot of personal stuff too. Like he talks about values, he talks about leadership, and he does like the full holistic side, which is awesome.
AI and
yeah, definitely like that now. Back when I was there, AI wasn't really around, but anyways, we sat down and it's like the quarterly planning. So every quarter, I recommend doing this every quarter, by the way, for anyone listening. But every quarter you go through and you redo the whole plan.
Yep.
What's your purpose? What's your mission? What's your vision? What are your values? And then what's the plan for yourself and your business? So what are you doing 3 years, 2 years, 12 months, etc., all the way down to daily outcomes. And I just remember the first time I sat in the room, I'm like 21 or something at the time, or 22. And I sit down, it's like pen and paper, and it's like first question on the page, what's your purpose? I'm like, how the fuck do you answer that? And I'm like, how do you answer that question? It's like, that's a pretty hard, like for anyone listening who's done, and I hadn't done a lot of
self-development. Yeah, you're like, what the fuck does this word even mean?
I was like, to help people? I don't know. Like I didn't know where to start. So, so that was, I guess, the start of that journey. A big shift for me was definitely John DeMartini. So he's probably my number one mentor. That's shifted the way I view the world and he's made the most impact on me. He uses values a lot. Talks about your voids create your values. Your purpose is an expression of your highest value, and therefore your highest value comes from your biggest wound. So your purpose is an expression of your biggest core wound. So that's how I teach it. Yeah. So that's the balance. Greater the pain, greater the purpose, greater the wounds, greater the wisdom. Your biggest core wound, once healed, and that's the key part, once you heal it, an expressed version of that is your purpose. Now, that took me a while to piece together. So I came across John's work through Kerwin, actually, because Kerwin had John DeMartino on his podcast, and that's when I entered his world. So that was a while ago. That was maybe 6 years ago. So then I learned about values and actually being okay just doing whatever the fuck I want to do. Like,
Nice.
as simple as that sounds, it's like, if you don't feel like doing something, you don't have to do it. Like, wow, that's crazy, right?
Whoa, really? Thank you for the permission. I accept.
And it's like you and me can have fun with it because we've done so much work collectively. But there was a moment where that shifted for me. I went to an event and he was someone who's been trained through John's work. He was teaching values, so John's version of it. And there was a guy in the room and it just really landed for me. He's like, you go through your values of like, your values is your life priorities. What's most meaningful to you? It's not freedom. It's not honesty. It's not integrity. It's not, those are all traits and emotions. People say freedom. If you had ultimate time and financial freedom, what would you do? Go to the gym, health, hang out with your family, spend time with your partner, relationship, go travel, experiences. Those are values. So it's like, what actually lights you up? And we did the process and there was a guy in the back, Dion, he's a good friend of mine. And I said, mate, I feel really bad. Like, I don't have family on my values. It's like, why do you have to have family on your values? Whose values are you projecting onto yourself? And that was like, fuck, I do that all the time. I was like, shit. It's like, to actually get clear on what's authentically you, what lights you up, what are your values, and just been giving yourself the permission to be okay doing them. So I like a good Saturday night for me. Sometimes it's funny. I'll be like with my beautiful fiance, just watching a movie, and I'm like, babe, I feel like filming a podcast. I'm going to show up to the studio and film a podcast. It's like some people like going out and partying. There's no right or wrong with that. Some people overcompensate, and that's their means. We'll get through that later. But if that actually inspires them, all means go for it. It's like, I want to film a podcast on a Saturday night. It's like, that inspires me. Coaching's my highest value. I do a ton of coaching. I see this is coaching. So this is coaching for me. I coach a lot. So yeah, that full circle to your question. When I got into John's world and I learned about values, and he also teaches purpose, I've built my way of doing purpose using his method and then adding onto it.
Cool.
But yeah, if anyone that wants to get clear on their purpose, what's your biggest core wound? That can be a challenging question because that can bring up trauma and unhealed stuff. So do it in a safe space. Once you've healed it, if you don't know how to heal it, hit me up or find someone to help you through that, whether it's a plant medicine journey, whether it's a therapist, psychotherapist, a sound healer, a meditation healer. Like, there's so many ways to heal. There's so many modalities out there. Once it's healed, then express it. So you might have been someone who really struggled. There's a beautiful client I've got. She's just gone like absolutely viral on like social. So cool. She had like this beautiful, she does hair, and I'll show you her profile afterwards. And she had like this beautiful, like the content was stunning, way polished than mine. I'm like, this is beautiful shit. Beautiful shit. And she's like, oh, I'm just thinking about just doing this TikTok. I'm scared. I'm like, fucking do it. Like, got rid of the resistance, and she did it. And like within a month, like 2 or 3 went off, and she gained within a week 350,000 followers on TikTok.
Wow.
And then Instagram went off. She went from 1,000 to 130,000 in a week. I'm like, you're going to overtake me. I'm like,
whoa, that's amazing.
So her name's Carrie. Carrie's hair, I think. I'll get that right.
Carrie's hair,
she's amazing. And anyway, so we were doing purpose with her and getting clear on her. She's one of my one-on-one clients. And I said, what was your biggest core wound? And she's like, I felt ugly. Like, she was the skinny girl at school. People would laugh at her about how skinny she was and her hair and her whatever. And like, ironically, what are you most passionate about? She was already doing it. Beauty. And her purpose is to show that beauty is ageless. And because she had so much pain and her core wound was around her appearance, so that's where it comes from. So, yeah, that's the purpose process anyways.
How beautiful. Thank you. And so what is your big purpose?
To heal and expand consciousness. So for me, and where's the wound come from? The emotional volatility. My nervous system was absolutely fried when I grew up. Lacking the consciousness part for me comes from just not having awareness. I use awareness and consciousness interchangeably. Just not having the awareness or the toolkit to be able to communicate, to regulate my emotions, to actually calm the fuck down, to freak out like I pulled the teacher's hair out. So, just being able to actually check in with my nervous system, to actually calm myself down, to know what I want, to have awareness and consciousness on what do I want. I'm not sure if anyone can relate to this. I don't know who the fuck I was or what the fuck I wanted when I was growing up.
Totally.
Go to uni, get a job, blah, blah, blah. So was lost as shit in the Matrix, right? So so was really hurt and wounded, which was the healing part, and then just lost as shit, didn't know who I was, where I wanted to go. That was the consciousness part.
Wow. Thank you so much. So fucking cool. Thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom today.
Thank you.
And one final question. If you could give someone any piece of advice to help them through the healing journey, what would it be?
So many came up just then. If I had to pick one, find the right person to do it with. Ultimately, it depends where you're at with it. If you're like super new, if you're like, fuck, I've never opened up Pandora's box. Like, you don't want to necessarily just fuck it, let's dive straight into it. Like, depending where you're at. If you're brand new to it, find someone. That would be my recommendation. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do my work without the teachers and healers that I worked with. The people that have done a little bit more work and you're aware of it, what I pretty much said earlier in the podcast, like, be aware of the resistance.
Yeah.
Where there's smoke, there's generally fire. Find where it's coming from and integrate those parts, because until you don't, I like the quote that you attract people and circumstances to trigger your unhealed wounds. So the resistance is the trigger. That's actually the gift. That's where I say triggers are your gifts, because they're revealing where the healing can be done. And you just follow the vein, find where it is, use your techniques, use your tools to integrate, process, and heal. So depending where you're at with your journey, if you're brand new, just find the right person who's got results. They're walking their talk, and they make you feel safe. They make you feel safe. That's probably because I've had people that have come to me and said they've done therapy for 10 years, and I take care of it in a couple of hours. And that's no knock on traditional therapy, kind of, but it is. But kind of depending who you're talking to. But it's like, a lot of them say, I just didn't feel safe. Like, this person was so intense. They're so like sort of book like smart, but it's like they hadn't done their work. And a lot of people get into therapy because they're that's their shit, and that's their way of compensating and projecting their stuff. So finding someone who's done their work, they're actually at peace, they love themselves, they've done their work, they've gotten proven results, and you feel safe around them, or to be safe around them, that would be extra layer on that answer.
Thank you so much for sharing. I so deeply appreciate that.
Thank you, my queen.
And guys, for those of you who are not following Lewis, please go there underneath here. The link is down below. Go and check out his stuff. He is so fucking deep and so integrated. I've absolutely loved having you on. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your wisdom. Guys, thank you for listening. If you would like to leave a review, please go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify. I love you all deeply, and I will see you soon. Have you always been curious about light language? Wanting to learn more about energetics in the fifth dimension? Are you wanting to break through from your current level of dimension of where you're at? If you get 5D activated, you'll get everything that you want. I have created the most comprehensive light language modality in the world. Join me January 18th, 19th, 20th in person in the Gold Coast with me and my beautiful team to help you become a light code practitioner. This is the first light language practitioner training literally in the world. You'll be a certified light code practitioner. You'll also be a certified light code healer. We will teach you about tapping into your past lives and all about the psychic gifts that you innately have. If you would like to find out more, click on the link below or the link in my bio.